Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another video on Starseed Academy. My name is Jenny. I promised y'all a Halloween edition part 2, and so I'm coming good on that promise, fully in my costume, and I hope that you're in your costumes tonight as well. So I'm rocking a bit of an alien cyborg vibe. Let me know what you think. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about the beings that we didn't get to in the Halloween edition, the first one. So in the first one, we covered werewolves and we covered vampires. I was actually really surprised at the information that came through. Definitely not what I was expecting. I was expecting to hear more magical shape-shifty kind of information. And instead what I heard was governmental experiments. So I thought about that. And, the way that you phrase your question really does determine the kind of information that you're going to get. So if you watch that video, or if you're going to watch that video, maybe you noticed at the beginning that I asked the history of werewolves and vampires, the history of them on Earth in this timeline. So I did limit the perspective to this literal timeline that we're on right now, not some other more magical timeline, and the Earth experience. And so I just want you to know that if you feel differently than what came through in that movie, if you want to believe in the magic of werewolves and vampires, I mean, the universe is so huge, and I've even heard from scientists that whatever you can imagine is possible is probably happening in some multi-dimensional universe somewhere, some parallel universe somewhere. So just because the history of the werewolves and the vampires on this timeline, this Earth timeline going back into the 1800s, which is what we did in the first Halloween edition, just because it was a little bit dark and kind of sad, it doesn't mean that that's all there is to those stories about these beings, right? There's definitely, I think, more to it. It's just interesting that that's what came through. So I want to stick with that. I definitely channeled purely what came through, and it was very interesting. So if you haven't watched that yet, you really definitely want to check that out. So here's what we didn't get to. I wanted to talk about zombies. I wanted to talk about golems, and I wanted to talk about voodoo, like voodoo dolls and that kind of thing, the Loch Ness Monster, and Bigfoot. So let's cover those today. So I did do the channeling beforehand for this video to make things kind of a little bit quicker so I could fit more into the video. So the first thing that we're going to tackle is zombies. Okay, so what do you feel about zombies? Do you feel like they're real? Do you feel like they're just like an apocalypse world? They're actually happening somewhere? What are you thinking? Is it a disease? There's so many videos that portray zombies in different ways. So again, what I'm receiving, my answers that I receive, it doesn't mean that's all there is. It just means that's what I'm receiving. It's one truth. Okay, so please don't feel like you can't believe something else. Okay, always just take everything with a grain of salt. However, what I received was really interesting. Okay, so zombies are created with a magic called necromancy. So necromancy is bringing the dead back to life. Okay, so maybe you've heard of that. So my fear then is that you are trapping a soul back in a dead body, right? What if that soul carried on? What if it was trying to cross over? What if all these things, and then somebody these claws of magic almost pulled it back down into a corpse? That would be the most traumatizing thing ever. So when I tuned into that, that was one of the questions that I wanted to know. And what I received through channeling was that it is not the original soul at all. It's not the original soul. It's actually a possession. So this is where somebody that's doing, I don't know if I want to go all the way and say black magic, but it's definitely darker magic. They are actually calling up from below. And it was specifically the image that I saw is they're calling up from below, not calling down. Okay, so what's possessing that dead body, this corpse, is something lower than earth. They're calling it up from below. Okay, so there's different kinds of, I don't know if you would call them religions or just different kinds of cultures and magic beliefs and ancient kind of rituals, I guess, that would do this. And so again, this is not the original soul, thank goodness. It is a possession. Possessions are real, like those do happen. So it's a possession of a dead body. So another way to think about this is even a doll can be possessed by a spirit. Okay, that happens. That's real. I've actually come across something like that. It was very dark, the one that I came across. It felt demonic, but I would just leave that open to, it could be spirit, it could be a demonic force, it could be anything really like that from below, right? Calling up from below. So if a doll can be possessed, then so can a lifeless body. It's almost just like a doll, like a lifeless husk. However, like the natural breakdown of that organic form, because the body is going to rot and fall apart, would definitely hinder that. So there would probably have to be a sweet spot in there to do the necromancy. And I would say the fresher the body, the more powerful that would be, the better chance you would have of actually, if you wanted to do that, please don't do that. But the better chance that you would have of actually be successful at that. So you need that fresh corpse, okay? You need your dark black magic, and you need to call up a spirit from below to create a possession, okay? Okay, let's move on. So then the next one was golems. So golems, if you've never heard of them, they show up in a lot of different like fantasy like books and novels, and that's my jam. That's what I'm all about with my audiobooks. So golems are usually created from clay by some kind of dark wizard. So it's like something that's shaped like a man or like a human, but it's lifeless. It's created from clay, but it can be created from something else. It doesn't have to be clay, but the ones that I've seen are always clay. So with golems, the being that creates the golem puts into the, I want to use the word doll again, but it's not, puts into this like lifeless thing, this lifeless form, their will or their intention. So it's not necessarily a possession, because you're not calling up a soul and putting it into something else. This is more of a magic around putting your forced will or your forced intention into something lifeless that then comes to life. Now, it doesn't come to life as in it has a personality or it can think for itself or anything like that. It would be very like automated, robotic kind of actions, right? So if you were telling it to, there are ones that are hunters, golems that are hunters, you could, put your intention that they just search for that, and when they find whatever person or place or whatever thing that you're looking for, that you would sense it. And again, this is magic, right? Magic is real. And other golems can be fighters, warriors, soldiers. So we've got the hunters, we've got the soldiers that can fight or protect, like a dark wizard kind of vibe. So I don't know about golems, happening anytime recently. I certainly don't think so, but I do think that this was something that has happened on Earth in ancient history. That's the feeling that I got. So, whereas the necromancy, I could see that could be going on right now in the world. Like that doesn't feel like there's a time frame. That feels like that could be happening now, and it's happened definitely in ancient, different tribal cultures and different things. But for the golems, I feel like that kind of magic was available to us during the times of Avalon. Like it feels very, very like an enchanted wizard kind of thing. And if you've heard me talk about Avalon, or if you haven't, check out the video Avalon. That's a time on Earth when the witches and the wizards and the dragons and the unicorns and the fae and the elven beings were all like alive here on Earth. It was a very different time. It was a golden era of magic on Earth. And so I think that the golems that we hear about now in stories are kind of like coming forward from that era. Just like we have stories about dragons and unicorns, and they do come from somewhere, just not in our history on this timeline. Like, you know what I mean? Like not the timeline that we're on right now. Okay, so golems, lifeless kind of clay beings that are created by like darker wizards or witches to protect them or to hunt for something. Okay. All right, let's move on now. So the next one was voodoo. What do you think about voodoo? It's a real religion, and I don't necessarily think it's all dark, but when we think about voodoo, we think about voodoo dolls, right? Which are dark. So that when I kind of tapped into what voodoo energy was, I mean, obviously it's real. It's a real religion. I think that it's pretty prevalent down in like New Orleans. And so demonic energies, this is the information that came through, demonic energies really love voodoo dolls because they love pain, anger, revenge, jealousy. Like they feed on that. It would literally be like a buffet for them, that they would just be eating that energy right up and loving it so much. So the thing though is that if you are a practitioner and you are, out there, cursing people or using voodoo dolls to hurt other people, because you are the one that is like saturated by this dark energy, this black magic, this demonic energy, you actually are the one that's going to likely have more issues than the person you're trying to hurt. And that's just because these demonic energies don't care where they get their snacks from or who they possess. If you're the one calling them in, you are probably even more susceptible than the person you're trying to unleash hell on. So I would say that black magic makes you very susceptible to possession and psychic attack because you are saturating yourself, your consciousness, your auric fields, like your energy fields, your body, all that you are, in magic that they are so attracted to, that is as a feast for them. They're not going to leave you alone. Like, why go bother who you want them to go bother when you are creating this incredible energy that they love? So they're going to be so attracted to you, right? That doesn't mean that people that practice black magic aren't powerful and don't do things to others. Absolutely. But I actually think that they suffer more. I think that they are kind of having their spirit, their energy just eaten away. So then we just should touch on curses. I actually think I have a video about curses. It might be really old though. But curses are bad intentions, right? That's when somebody has ill will or is trying to put a bad intention on you. So you should treat it just like you would treat a psychic attack. Okay, so this isn't to be confused with karma. Sometimes we have karma with people and we feel like whenever we're around them, they trigger us. That's not a curse. That's karmic attachment. Okay, so nobody's cursing you if you're just having like a karmic, trigger with somebody. Curses are like, I would say rare, I guess, just because we don't have all that many like black magic practicing people out there trying to curse people, but it does happen. And when somebody tries to curse you, it is like they're trying to pull you down, pull down your vibrational frequency, really pull you down. And it would feel pretty much just like a psychic attack, which a lot of us have experienced and had. I've shared a lot about that on this channel. So then treat it like a psychic attack, right? If you feel like you've been cursed or if you feel like something weird is going on, do all the steps that you would take when you were having a psychic attack, which would be to clear yourself first with light. And I actually just talked to my email subscriber list about this. Okay, so if you're not subscribed to my email, I actually send out weekly, every single Monday, I send out these really amazing like energy reports, tips, tricks, stuff like what I'm talking about with you right now. There's a link in the description to sign up. It's totally free and you just get an email on Mondays. Okay, so if you're experiencing a curse, a psychic attack, anything like that, the most important thing, there's like 4 steps. So first you want to clear yourself and you want to include everything. So visualize white light coming down to clear you and also speak that intention out loud with the help of Archangel Michael. It's even more powerful. So get his assistance, calling him in and then saying, Archangel Michael, please help me to clear my body, mind, soul, energy, all that I am with white light. Clear away anything that is not for my highest good. So once you clear yourself, then it's time to clear your space, like your home or wherever it is that's being bothered. And then once you clear yourself and your space, set up a ward of protection. The fastest, easiest way to do this, and I find very, very powerful, is to visualize a pyramid, a really, really big pyramid of light, almost placed over your home like a dome. But it's in a pyramid shape, and you can place it as wide as you want around your property as well. Giant pyramid goes down over top of your home and your land. White light is really powerful, golden light, purple, one of those colors, but see what resonates with you. And then visualize everything, like all those spirits, that dark magic, bad intentions, anything not for your highest good, getting sucked to the outside. And it might be banging on the glass to try to get in kind of thing, but it can't. So clear yourself, clear your space, set up those wards. And then the 4th thing is really something not to leave out, because I have done those 3 steps and still struggled with really bad psychic attacks. Usually that's enough to clear a psychic attack. But if not, the fourth step to go a little bit further, if you're still struggling, is to raise your vibration and do it quick. You have to remove their access to you. So obviously you're down in a place of maybe fear, maybe paranoia, or maybe you've had a bad day, you're tired, you're exhausted, you're drained, you're burnt out, you're sick. Any one of those reasons or stress is a big one. It pulls you down and it makes you more susceptible to those energies because you're on the same playing field. When you rise up, when you bring yourself up, then they lose complete access to you. It's like you just get pulled up out of their world and they're like, what happened? So then they just go after somebody else. So bring yourself up out of their world. Quickest way to do that is focus on what you're grateful for. Focus on the things in your life that make you happy. Take 5-10 minutes, ask for help with this too if you want to, from God's source or your spirit team. Focus on everything that you're grateful for, how strong you are, how beautiful life is. Focus on things that you have to look forward to that are coming up. Focus on the people that you love, fun times, laughter, anything to raise you back up. That's really like one of the most powerful. That fourth step is so powerful. Don't leave that one out, because sometimes we clear everything and we're still in fear, so we're still attracting it because we didn't clear our fear, right? Because we can get really paranoid when we're doing a bunch of clearings and freaking out a little bit, which is normal if you're being attacked. That's totally normal. Don't feel bad. I've literally been through that recently. And I remembered, okay, step 4, raise your frequency, literally remove their access to you. Okay. So that's the last thing that I had about voodoo. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was the Loch Ness Monster. So I got a big yes. When I asked if it was real, I got a big yes on that. What I received was that it was natural, organic, a rare species, but prehistoric. So like really super old and ancient. And that the reason that that particular one keeps getting cited in that river, or it's actually a lake, I think, that water system that's called Loch Ness. The reason why that particular one, that's probably like a really old dinosaur basically, the reason it keeps getting cited there is it keeps coming back to that area because that area is like its family home, right? Like, so maybe it was spawned there, created there, birthed there, and so it has like a special significant attachment for this Loch Ness monster, Nessie, right? And when I tuned into that, I got the feeling that there's more than one. And I've actually tuned into our oceans before for a group reading in my membership. It was a question that came through. People wanted to know about what's at the very bottom of the ocean. And it was like a lot, basically, is down there. These kinds of prehistoric beings, the kraken, like the huge squid beings, all of these crazy things. They live in like their own world, and the ocean is so deep and nobody's been down there that far. It's just barely been explored at all, and it's almost like its own world, like an alien world. So the Loch Ness monster, though, that's freshwater. It's not an ocean, but it is very deep, and there are like tunnels of water that connect different rivers and lake systems, right? And these beings would obviously know that, or maybe even be able to create them. And so, whether or not they dredge that lake doesn't mean that it's not there. Like maybe they, dragging the nets or dredging it or whatever. And then they're like, no, it's not here. But people keep seeing it pop up every, couple of decades or whatever. And it keeps going back to its little home because that's where it was like its family was, which is super sweet. I didn't get the feeling like it was this vicious creature. I don't know. Maybe it felt threatened, but I got the feeling that it was not a carnivore, right? That it was eating like seaweed and stuff. So that doesn't mean that there aren't, like I said, there's lots of these different kinds of beings though. That doesn't mean that they're all nice, because I feel like leviathans are real. These kraken are real. Those would be super dangerous for sure. Just all kinds of different big teethed beings. But for Loch Ness, it felt a little bit more like, I don't know dinosaurs that well, but like a brontosaurus head and neck, but on an aquatic being. So whatever that is. Okay, so yes, that was real. That was cool. Rare species, prehistoric, and that area is its family area, so it's sentimental for that being. Okay, then I asked about Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch, and I got another yes, which was interesting because you never know, right? What is hoaxes and what is real. Although I think that there are a lot of hoaxes that play into Bigfoot and Nessie that people want to make it look like it's real, but it actually already is real and they don't need to do that. But people have fun, right? So anyway, for the Sasquatch, what I got from that was that it was it was a species, it was a thing, like that there was more than one. It was a extremely rare, very, very, like as in would be endangered, like there are so few of them, and that they were a subspecies of human. So that's pretty weird. Like somehow like a part, it's like, you know how humans have evolved and the DNA is kind of like a mixture of the alien and the, you know, we've all had like a lot of blended DNA happening. It's almost like the Sasquatch or the Bigfoot beings are like a subspecies of human that was not mixed with aliens, but more so mixed with animals, or like an ape or something, because it's like this hairy being like that. So again, I'm thinking for this one, for the Loch Ness, it felt like natural and organic, and it was born that way. For the Bigfoot, I'm thinking that maybe, just like with humans, this could be a bit of an experiment. Not a government experiment this time, but like a higher, like beings, like maybe some kind of alien influence with that. Because I kind of think that there are more subspecies to human than we realize. And there's some in inner Earth, there's some on the surface of Earth, there's these rare species that are like smaller amounts of them, like these Sasquatches kind of scattered around the earth probably. I think there's more than that though. I think there's a lot of subspecies of human, and maybe they're not all on earth. So it's very interesting why our DNA continues to get chosen to be blended with so many things, because we have like a really high rate for learning things and intelligence and reasoning. But then we also have like this really powerful emotional center that a lot of beings don't have, which is like that stuff that gets us really like passionate about things and ambitious and going after our dreams and or taking care of our loved ones or whatever it is. I know I've talked about that before, but like there's a lot of species in the galaxy, a lot of different kinds of aliens or extraterrestrials in the galaxy that are quite like enamored by humanity, or even jealous of our ability to feel so deeply and to create such amazing art with our passion, with our feelings, and to love so hard and to just live so well. It's really powerful, and it's a blessing, you know, even though sometimes it's, you know, being human is a roller coaster of emotions. It's still, you're living so hard when you're human, like you're so in it. So that's really amazing. So yes, Bigfoot, kind of a subspecies of human. I don't feel like that was like I'm not sure if any humans were like natural, but like not so sure that was just born that way. I think there was some help to create that one. But with Nessie, it did feel like that was just actually a dinosaur. Okay, good. So we covered zombies, golems, voodoo, Loch Ness, Bigfoot. And the only other thing that I was maybe going to touch on was I had written down witches and wizards. I don't need to touch on ghosts. I have a whole video about ghosts here on this channel, so you can check that out. And it's just called, I think you could just search Starseed Academy Ghost and it would pop up. Then I have a video called Witch Wounds. So again, if you're searching or looking for it, if you can't find it on my channel, just pop into YouTube, Starseed Academy Witch, and it should pop up Witch Wound video. I don't think I have one on wizards, but that would be the Avalon video, okay? So if we wanted to touch on it just super quickly, I mean, we all know that witches are real. I mean, this isn't like even that long ago. And it's women that are coming into their own power, their own empowerment, using their voices, being bold, finding healings in herbs and in the forest instead of medicine, being birth doulas, death doulas, like bringing life into the world, sending life out of the world, being really powerful manifestors, doing rituals, syncing up with the moon in different cycles, things like mind reading and telepathy, and all of that amazing intuition that women naturally have within us. Men have it too. Sometimes they just have to like lean a little more into it than we do to find it, because for us, that feminine energy, which is that intuition, that wild feminine energy, a lot of that is actually stored in your divine feminine center of your sacral chakra. So that's where your womb is. So for women, it's just quite natural. We are magic beings. We are portals of life. We bring life into this world. We create it like goddesses. We create life. We birth it into this world through a portal, literally. So we are walking portals. We are walking gods. We are walking creators. But men have the ability to tap into that divine feminine energy as well. They also have a sacral chakra. Okay. And then, so that's witches. And then for wizards, I feel like wizards are the same. It's just the same, but for a man. Somebody really coming into his power. I think that manifestation is really, really powerful magic. You're, using your intention and your emotions to create your reality. I mean, that is like the top magic that there is. And then these witches and wizards, again, a lot of these like stories coming forward come from Avalon. So check out the video about Avalon. That was a time on Earth when magic was really thick and really potent because it was a golden era. And I think we're going to have that here again. We're just kind of like, moving into that golden era at this time. So we're almost at the top again of the 24,000 year precession cycle, which at the top, as we all know, is that golden era. And as we come up into that, we unlock a lot of that dormant DNA. It's there for a reason. It's going to become unlocked and we're going to become these telepathic, absolutely magic beings. So witches and wizards are us. Of course they're real. They're just us in our power. And then ghosts, just check out the ghost video because that needs its whole own video. It's pretty complicated. And I shared that video. I shared a couple of ghost videos in my Instagram stories today. So if you follow me there, check out my stories. The links are there, so it makes it really easy for you to watch the videos. Okay, so this concludes Halloween for 2022, but I look forward to next year. It's my favorite holiday. I just love it. I love the shadow aspects of it all. Reminding us to embrace our own shadows and our own oneness. If you're on my email subscriber list, you're going to receive, you received earlier today, a whole thing about Samhain, which is Halloween, what it is the veil really thinning? And I also talked in there about like shadowy or darker spirit guides that you might have a better connection to during this time as well. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. Thank you all so much. Please, if you want to receive those kinds of emails, make sure that you sign up for the email list in the link below. Also, if you want to work with me like more regularly, receive all kinds of invites to events and hang out with an amazing crew of a spiritual advanced community, then join the Starseed Academy membership. So we are doing incredible things over there, group readings, astral missions, lots of healings, activations, workshops, special guests, and it's a really potent place for growth. Like I feel like everyone's growth just skyrockets when they come in there. So it's about the energy and the people that you surround yourself with, right? So check out the Starseed Academy membership, sign up for the email list. Those are two things that are gonna be so easy for you, so powerful for you to connect with. If you did want to go a little bit deeper in depth, please check out my link from my website where you can see how you can work with me one-on-one. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I love you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your Halloween. And if you want to, please tag me in your costume pics on Instagram. I would love to see your costumes. Just tag me Starseed Academy in your stories so that I can see them. And that would be a lot of fun, actually. And of course, please remember, listen to your heart and the quiet voice within, because you are so much more than the body you are in. Have a great night, beautiful starseeds. Talk to you soon.